Hey guys, today we are going to be studying or looking at how do we factor a trinomial. Okay, so now at this point we have learned how to factor out a GCF, we've learned how to factor out a difference of two squares, and now we're going to look at how do we factor a trinomial. Okay, so first of all, let's refresh our memory as to what a trinomial is. Remember, a trinomial is nothing more than just a three-termed polynomial. Okay, and so the way that I'm going to write it out, I'm going to write it out in general form right now, which looks like the following. Ax squared, okay, plus bx plus c. Okay, so this is the general form of a polynomial. Of course, a, b, and c are just numbers, they're just integers. Okay, now to factor a trinomial out, okay, it's quite a process. However, once you do it the first time, then you'll be able to fly right through these. Okay, these are sort of like little riddles. All right. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to discuss this through an example real quick. So if you don't mind for a moment, I'm going to give you this example. X squared plus 7x plus 10. Okay, so I want to take this and somehow factor it down so that it's you have its factors of two binomials like this. Now, how exactly are you going to do that? Well, you know, when we had the differences of two squares, if we had x squared minus 4, I had you make two parentheses, make one plus, one minus. Okay, and then I asked you to take the square root of both of these things. So that would be x plus 2, x minus 2. Okay. However, that's not going to work for this because we have three terms now. So what is the process of factoring out a trinomial? Okay. Well, it's going to look like this. What you're going to do is you're going to make a big X on your paper like this. Okay. Now, this X, as you see, has been divided into four regions. Okay. Now, on the top region, you're going to take whatever numbers A and C are, okay, and multiply them. So this will be A times C. And before we even get to that, what is the value of A of this problem here that I've just given you? Let's go ahead and link these off to the side. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 7, and C is equal to 10. Okay, so this top one here, we want to multiply A and C. So 1 times 10 will give you a 10. Okay, so far so good. Now the bottom part here is just going to be whatever B is. So you don't have to do anything special with B. B is what it is. So what number is B? Well, it was 7, so we're going to put 7 right here. Okay, now this is critical. You have to write this down. As far as these two side numbers go, this is the hardest part of the lesson. Okay, you're going to ask yourself the following. Okay, and like I said, this is sort of the riddle part. Okay, what multiplies to the top and also adds to give you the bottom? Okay, so what exactly does that mean? Okay, so again, so you would ask yourself now, what multiplies to give you a 10, but at the same exact time adds to give you a 7? Have you figured it out what those numbers are? Okay, so to make a 10, you know it's 1 times 10, and also another way is 2 times 5. Well, if you take 2 and 5, multiply that, you do get 10, and if you add them, you get 7. That's right. So 5 and 2 are going to go on these sides. I always get all the time, does it matter what side these numbers go on? The answer is no. You can put 2 and 5 any way that you arrange it. Okay? So that is what takes care of the side numbers. Okay, so you kind of have to do a little bit of thinking here. And we're not quite done just yet. I promise we're almost there. Okay? Now, once you find these two magic numbers, okay, you are going to divide them both by whatever A is. So you're going to divide them by A. And what is A in this case? What number was A? Right, it was 1. So I'm just going to rewrite this as this is really 2 over 1. And this is 5 over 1. Okay? And now, these two magical fractions are actually the things that are going to go inside the two parentheses. But how do you do that? All right? So how you do this by you take the denominator of the fraction, which in this case it's 1, and you hook on an x. So you're going to say that this is really 1x, so 1x, and then plus or minus whatever the top is. So the top is a positive 5, so 1x plus 5. Okay? If I do this one, take the denominator, which is 1, hook on an x, 1x, and then plus or minus whatever the top is. In this case, it's a positive 2, plus 2. So 1x plus 5 and 1x plus 2 is the answer to this. This is how this factors. Okay, so digest that all. That was a lot to take in. I understand that, but believe me, since I've gone over all these ground rules here on what to do, what's A, what's B, etc., you'll be able to fly through these. And I'm going to show you a few tricks on your calculator that will help you with this. Okay, so take a moment, and if you need to review any of this, please pause the video, rewind before we go into the next video, which we're going to be doing several examples to illustrate this. Okay, so here we go.